Alright, this video is going to take a look at some terminology associated, Java terminology associated with the very first program that we typed up. And so on this paper, you should have your page 3 notes here. There'll be some things you'll want to write on here, and we'll see how this goes. So the first thing that, if I were to ask you what line 1 is, hopefully you know that it's the class header, and that hopefully you remember that Hello Printer is called the class name. Now the next line that's important here is line 3. This is called the main method header. And so the thing is that let's see, let's get this up here. Okay, that's good. So this line, whole line 3 is the main method header. And so what is a method is basically a method is basically a block of code that carries out a task or series of tasks. Okay, so it has a specific purpose, something specifically it does. It could be a series of things that it actually does. And so now the key thing with the main method is a method also, and so since we're talking about methods, we'll go ahead and do this. A method is a block of code, but also you can recognize a method by the parentheses. So a parentheses typically indicates the presence of a method. And so in this case, of course, we have the parenthesis here and the parenthesis here. And so this indicates that we have a method. And so in this, then the name of the method is before the parentheses. So the name of this method is main. It's just like your name might be Sally, you know, or Martha or Catherine. And so this name of this method is main. And also within the parentheses you have an argument. So arguments is inside a set of parentheses. And so if you have multiple arguments, those are separated by commas. Now none of this method here, there's no commas here. It's just one argument is all it is. But if there were more than one argument, then it would have a comma separating them. Now, you should be able to look at this code and tell me the name of another method that's on this paper. So go ahead and check that out. And hopefully you go, okay, well here's parentheses. That indicates a method. And the name of the method is before the parentheses. So println is the name of the method. So there's a println method. And the argument is what's inside the parentheses. Now this comma is a part of this whole object separated that's surrounded by quotation marks. So this is not separating two arguments. This is one argument that happens to have a comma inside of it. So we will in another chapter, chapter 5, we will actually be writing our own methods in this case, but up until then we'll be just using the main method. Now, we said that a method is a block of code that carries out a task or a series of tasks. It has a purpose. Well, the purpose of the main method is it has a certain task, and its task is to start the program. Among other things, it starts the program. So you can have, if you don't have a main method in your class, the program will not start. And so the idea is it'd be like if you had a car and you went into the car and you didn't have your keys with you. Well, you can't start the car if it's a key starting car, and so it would be just be stuck. So if you clicked on run on this program without a main method, it would not do anything. The other thing is that we said it starts the program. What is a program? A program is like the whole program, so to speak, and a program contains one or more classes. In this case, and the programs we're going to write, we're only going to be writing programs that have one class. So this class, or this program, only has the class Hello Printer, and all this program does is prints Hello World. So we're starting out really small. But obviously, you're going to have other programs, like a video game, that probably uses other classes in order to do the entire program to allow you to play a video game. So if you use more than one class, just like you don't need more than one key to start a car, only one class needs the main method. The other classes do not have a main method. Only one key to start the car, so only one class to have a main method. Okay, one more thing that we're going to do here is we are going to look at this expression right here. Probably should highlight that. Oh, that didn't work. So we're going to highlight this. So what we have highlighted in yellow is called a string. It's also can be called a literal or a string literal. That's another term. I think that's what the author uses sometimes, is string literal. Some people might say literal string. A string is a group of characters, all right, that is surrounded by quotation marks. So just like parentheses signal a method, quotation marks signal a string. What are characters? Well, characters are, the simplest way I can put that is if you look at your keyboard, the letters that you have on the keyboard, you have numbers on your keyboard, you have punctuation on the keyboard, you have space bar on the keyboard. All those things are characters, and when those are put together and surrounded by quotation marks, you have a string. So it's a string literal, and it has a space. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 characters. One of those characters is a comma, one of them is a space, one of them is an exclamation point, and the rest are letters. And so that is a string. And so that we're going to stop with that. That's as far as we made it today in class.